Hi, it's Colli from Colli Talks, transformative conversations. Well, and there I go again. Well, today I have an amazing guest that I want to introduce to you. Yes, that guest is Colli, Colli Christante. I'm talking about myself here. I have a very interesting topic today that I really wanted to share with you personally. A couple of weeks ago, I posted on Facebook that I had a real breakthrough, and that breakthrough was due to gathering back a missing piece. Well, that missing piece was a missing piece of me. So today, what we are going to discuss, what I'm going to share with you, is breaking free from shame and how that was my awakening to the power of self compassion. Now, over many years, I've known different times I've been feeling shame or shamed. But shame is one of the most powerful forces that holds us back from fully living. It keeps us small. It keeps us hidden. It keeps us afraid to be seen. But here's the truth. Shame only has power when we keep it buried. The moment we bring it into light, something shifts. It loses its grip. And as I mentioned, in that week, I had profound awakening to shame. I actually sat down and wrote 4 pages, 4 long pages of moments in my life when I had felt deeply shamed. Moments that shaped how I saw myself and how I moved through the world and how I unknowingly kept myself trapped. And then I realized something. Shame, all that time through my childhood, even at conception, had it been known then what is known now about epigenetics, now shame is not mine to carry. It wasn't then and it is not now. So today I want to take you on a journey with me to talk about what shame really is, how it seeps into our lives, and how we can finally break free. If you've ever felt unworthy or not good enough or like something about you is fundamentally flawed, this episode is for you. Something about shame also I just want to bring to your attention is that shame as permission to be human. Now, what I mean here is healthy shame lets us know that we are limited. Oh, I know. Unlimited potential, get out there, do this, do that. You have so much unlimited. Well, guess what? Shame tells us that to be human is to be limited. And actually, humans are essentially limited. There's not one of us has or can ever have unlimited power. Oh, I know. Like I said before, there's going to be people going, oh, yeah, right. Talk to Tony Robbins about this one. Well, I have attended Tony Robbins conferences. Believe me, I know what I'm talking about. But the unlimited power that many modern gurus offer is false hope. And I'm not saying he does. I'm not saying anyone specific. I am just saying the unlimited power that many modern gurus offer is false hope. And the thing is, their programs calling us to unlimited power have made them rich, not you. They touch our false selves and tap our toxic shame because they make us feel that if we have this unlimited power that we should be doing, could be doing, would be having better. Well, we humans are finite. We're perfectly imperfect, and limitation is our essential nature. Grave problems resulting from refusing to accept our limits can and do happen. And I mention here healthy. Healthy shame is an emotion that teaches us about our limits. Like all emotions, shame moves us to get our basic needs met. Yeah. So, as I mentioned, I want to take you on a little journey here. So, my deep dive into shame, well, like I mentioned, that week that I sat down and I wrote 4 full pages out of shame right from the moment of conception, moving it forward to where I am today. Moments from childhood when I was told I was too much. For example, I was living with my aunt and uncle, who I had thought at the time were my mom and dad, and it was at the time of the Beatles, and I just happened to, have the TV on, and it was Ed Sullivan, and the Beatles were on, and I jumped up on a little table, and I started grooving and dancing, and I was told, "Get down, stop now." So, moments from our childhood when we are told we're too much. I was, because I was too much. I filled the room with joy and laughter, and I was grooving it and loving it, but it was too much for the adults in the room. So there's also moments in our childhood when we're told we're not enough. I remember the time I was, figure skating, and I was in the back seat of the car coming home. And I do believe at that time it was my brother driving. And, he compared me to my best friend, Susan, asking me why I didn't skate as good enough as her. Well, hello. Yeah. And this happens in all families, believe me. Then there's moments in relationships, when I felt dismissed, unseen, unworthy. Moments in my work and purpose where I doubted my own gifts because of past criticism. Times when I, shrunk back, shrunk down, disappeared. And, with each memory, I realized that shame was shaping my life in ways that I had never even noticed. They're a little trippy. Yeah. It made me question my worth. It made me second guess my voice. And it's interesting about my voice. I have in some of my courses taken, I studied with, Jason Christoff and, certified under him for the freedom from self-sabotage coaching. And it was interesting in doing work with him through that. He told me, "Colli, your superpower, we found your superpower. It's your voice." So when I used to second guess my voice, not just how I use it, but what I say, right? It made me believe I had to earn love rather than just be love. And what child, you know, ever thinks in terms of, oh, I can just be love? You listening, if not you personally, someone that did feel that they had to earn love. A lot of children do when they're growing up. And so, there was that aha moment as I read through my pages, powerful realizations, one after the other hit me. But the big one is shame is not my truth. It was something I was taught. And the key here is if shame is learned, that means it can be unlearned. And in the work that I do, that's part of it. It's the unlearning, right? So let's break it down. What is shame and why? Why does it control us? Well, shame is different from guilt. Guilt says, I did something wrong. But, shame says, I am something wrong. Huge difference. And that is what makes shame so dangerous. It attacks who we are rather than what we have done. So, where does shame come from? Well, it comes from childhood conditioning, family beliefs, society's expectations, moments, and they are tiny little moments of rejection, embarrassment, or being told we weren't good enough. Now, when it comes to family beliefs, they run deep, right? I mean, we're talking ancestors way back when can be involved. There can be entanglements, there can be hidden loyalties, there can be blind spots, there can be all this with regards to these beliefs. It's not so easy just to say, oh, you have a limiting belief. Really? Come on. What limiting belief and where and whose? And, if it's a belief that I've borrowed from someone, I'd gladly give it back if it isn't working in my life, right? So, and because shame feels too painful to face, we push it down. But the truth is, what we suppress controls us. Yeah, that's right. What we suppress controls us. And that's why so many of us struggle with feelings of unworthiness, self doubt, and self sabotage. We're carrying shame we were never meant to hold. But here's the good news, we don't have to keep carrying it. No, we do not. So, how, how can we release shame? How can we heal shame? How do we step into a life where we are no longer ruled by it? Shame thrives in secrecy. And the moment we name it, we take our power back. Interesting, Dr. Gabor Mate talks about shame, right? And addiction and pain. And the pain, the addiction to anything is to put out the pain, just, suppress that pain, right? So it thrives in secrecy. So here's something you can do, like I did. I literally, like I said before, sat down and wrote nonstop 4 pages. And I'm not talking a little tiny notepad. I am talking full length letter, 4 pages with bullets. And so you can do that. You can write down your shame stories. This isn't about blaming anyone. This is about your shame, where you felt shamed. Then you can speak them out loud in a safe place, which is what I did. You can say, I see you, shame, but you are not my truth. Actually, compassion is the trick to living with vulnerability. Yes, compassion is the trick to living with vulnerability. So the only way to heal shame is with self-compassion. A lot of people don't even understand what compassion is these days, let alone what self-compassion is. How do I have compassion for myself? Well, would you judge a child for making a mistake? No, of course not. So why judge yourself? When shame, rises, respond with kindness. It's okay to feel this way. I'm still worthy. Yeah, it's okay to feel this way. I am still worthy. I'm human. I am a human being having a spiritual experience, or a spiritual being having a human experience, whichever, whatever. It doesn't matter. It's okay to feel this way. I'm still worthy. And then separate your feelings from your identity. You can feel shame without becoming it. It's a label. And feel your feelings, but don't let them define you. Mindfulness helps, absolutely. And breathing. Oh my goodness. Do breath work. I can't express enough how important breath work is. There are so many scientific backings now with regards to the regulation of the nervous system and the vagus nerve and everything. So it's the most important part of breath work is that it helps you come back to yourself. You're not your past. You're not your mistakes. You're something so much greater. You're not your future because your future hasn't come yet. And the big thing is, if you would have done what you did do differently, you would have. But you couldn't because you didn't. So what's the use in, the would have, could have, should haves, right? We didn't do things differently because we couldn't do them differently at the time, which means it's okay. It's okay. So that comes in and under reframing your story? What if every moment of shame was actually an invitation to step into your greater truth, your magnificence, your excellence, your power? Instead of, I'm unworthy, say, I'm growing, I'm learning, I'm exploring, I'm discovering, I'm curious. Instead of saying to yourself, I'm not enough, say, I'm learning, I'm discovering, I'm curious, I'm learning to love myself. Little by little, rewrite the narrative. And when you do, you set yourself free. Because that's exactly what happened to me. You see, I mentioned at the beginning that I knew there were times I had felt shame for what I might have said, done, did, even looked at a person, whatever, right? But there were some shame areas that still had a hold on me. And now that missing piece has come back because I've included shame. I don't run from it. I included it. I acknowledge it. I see it. I felt it. I heard it. And now I'm free. You see, shame wants us to stay hidden, but we were never meant to live in the dark. The more we speak our truth, show ourselves kindness, and reclaim our worth, the more shame loses its grip on us. So here's my invitation to you. What is one shame story you're ready to rewrite? One shame story that when you do rewrite it, you won't have to carry it anymore. You get to step forward. You get to be free. So thank you for being here with me today. If this episode resonated, share it with someone who needs to hear it. And let's continue this journey together. Until next time, stay open, stay kind, and keep transforming the limited version of yourself. The limited version that became limited only because of other people's perceptions, beliefs, values, and shaming. So stay open because that is no longer you. So keep transforming that limited version of yourself. Thank you. Lots of love, lots of soul hugs coming your way. Until next week, bye-bye.